Hello and good morning to everyone. Welcome to our 7-minute Ecology Talks. It's my privilege and pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Dr. Richard Gibbons from the National Audubon Society. He serves as the State Director of Conservation for Texas.
Thanks, Romy. Ooh. All right, good morning. Lightning talks, no rambling. Uncertainty. It's the prevailing mood for many. It's in our headlines. It's in our workplaces, our daily lives. In the conservation community, we understand uncertainty. We live it every day. So yesterday, Earth Day, as I was leaving the house, I noticed the barn swallow. I know this bird well. It comes back every year. But it's energetically calling to all its extended family. It's crisscrossing the sky. Deft turns and dives, an absolute master of the air. This barn swallow migrated back from the tropics a couple of weeks ago to the day. I notice every year when it's back because you can't miss him. And this barn swallow gives me hope. And maybe because it was Earth Day and I was looking for hope and maybe I needed a hook for this talk. But our street was a cattle pasture just a few years ago. Decidedly not barn swallow nesting habitat. They like covered overhangs for their mud nests. Every year, they make an epic journey from South America. They navigate storms, they navigate predators, disappearing habitats. That journey's full of uncertainty. But when these houses went up in our neighborhood, the barn swallow was primed to see new nesting sites. And this very determined long-distance migratory bird saw the opportunity, and I think that's a lesson we need right now. So here's another truth I think we need to remember, especially here in Texas, where change is seemingly very fast. Nature is not fixed. It's fluid. It's dynamic, constantly reinventing itself. What we're conserving is not a museum exhibit. It's a living, breathing system in motion. Nature's different today than it was yesterday, and nature will be different tomorrow. And maybe that can be a comfort. That change is certain, even when everything else isn't. I'm a Gen Xer, born in the 70s. We grew up dreaming big. Moon colonies, dolphin translators, world hunger was going to be eliminated, flying cars, meaning by now, limitless energy. You know, I had my doubts about the flux capacitor, but still, the vision was bold back then. Now, we can sequence a human genome in 5 hours. That's amazing. We carry supercomputers in our pockets. We can record the sound of a bird and identify it to species in seconds and share that around the world in seconds. That technology has fueled an explosion in community science. Birdwatching alone has more than doubled since 2016. Over 96 million Americans now identify as birders. That's not just a hobby, that's a force. A force collecting data, creating awareness, shaping conservation. And yet, despite all the progress, the 2022 State of the Birds report brought us some hard news. Since 1970, North America has lost nearly 3 billion with a B birds. That's 1 in 4 birds gone. Nearly every habitat showed declines. The only bright spot, wetlands. What made wetlands different was investment, collaboration, decades of it, through things like the duck stamp, across sectors, across agencies, across boundaries. Now, in conservation, we often work within 3 overlapping strategies. For short, the 3 R's: reserve, restore, and reconcile. Reserving is about protecting what's left. National parks, the work of land trusts, tribal lands. It's the work of saying, this place matters, it stays. Restoration takes what's been degraded and revives it. Here in Texas, we see it in the piney woods of East Texas, where red cockaded woodpeckers are thriving again. In the Balcones Canyonlands, where this very morning, I know golden cheek warblers are down there singing. And it's the return of the desert bighorn sheep to Big Bend. Now, these first 2 R's, reserve and restore, they're essential, but they are not enough. The third R, reconciliation, may be the most critical of all because it asks us to find harmony in the spaces where people and nature must coexist. It asks us to be creative in cities, in working lands, in our backyards. This is where we can make some gains. To reconcile is to find a new path forward. Take the Bird City program. There's a partnership with Texas Parks and Wildlife and Audubon, Texas. It brings together municipalities, nonprofits, and volunteers to make cities more bird and people friendly because 96 million birders want to live and visit somewhere that celebrates biodiversity. Or the Audubon Conservation Ranching Program. It helps ranchers restore grasslands for birds like the eastern meadowlark, whose population has plummeted. Since 1973, 4 eastern meadowlarks are gone. By supporting native grasses, soil health, water conservation, and retention, we help birds provide critically important ecological services for our landscapes and the ranchers' bottom line. And when you listen to these ranchers talk about how the land has come back to life, it's not just about economics, it's about legacy. The latest State of the Birds report wasn't all bad. There are wins to celebrate. The American oyster catcher is making a heroic comeback. Why? Collaboration, shared data, a unified network working across the entire range. That's the model. That's the future. Because change is guaranteed. The funding's going to shift. The policies are going to shift. The climate is going to shift. So what do? Let's be like the barn swallow. Agile, observant, unafraid to build something new. We lift our heads and we find the opportunities. We must keep preserving the last wild places, keep restoring the broken landscapes, but most of all, we must reconcile our lives with the natural world in our cities, on our ranches, and in our homes. Let's work together to create a future where nature doesn't just survive, it thrives. And where birds thrive, people prosper. Thank you.